Let's talk about the top 7 comfort tips for riding your Harley Davidson motorcycle. Now, as I get older, I'm a lot more conscious of being comfortable on my Harley, in particular on long trips. I've been riding for over 40 years and I've done it tough a lot of that time, not really worrying too much about whether the bike is comfortable. I've always been more concerned with whether I've got a good looking motorcycle or not. Now, the big question is why? Put in the comments if you think it's ego, because I think, like anyone who exercises, you've always got pains and niggles. You just become accustomed to it. And I've been exercising since I was a teenager. I've always got an injury. And if I let that stop me, or if I let discomfort stop me, well, I'd never get anything done. Anyone who's owned a business would experience similar. There are always challenges and obstacles to overcome. If you let them get you down, if you let them stop you, your business comes to a halt. So I guess I'm used to just getting on with it. So if my bike's uncomfortable and I've got to ride it for a long distance and I'm experiencing pain, it's uncomfortable, it hasn't really been that big a deal. But of course I'm getting older and wiser. At the moment I'm riding around with a bung shoulder that gives me a lot of pain just reaching the handlebars. Also got a cracked rib so I can feel every single bump that I go over. And I'm trying to get my wife on the back of the bike more. So I'm giving attention to detail, and that detail is comfort. Hi, my name's Eamon. Welcome to the channel. If you like what I'm doing, don't forget to check out the website oldnotdead.club. Grab yourself some great supporter gear, patch, a t-shirt, cool Old Not Dead gear. Support the channel so I can keep going. Now, the first comfort tip is get yourself a good seat. Surprising how good that actually is. Traditionally, I've got myself very slimline, cool looking seats because I hate the big padded. So I've been on the lookout for a seat that is both comfortable and looks good. Now, I did get myself this fantastic seat from Corbin. Will you look at that? That is magnificent. Look at that. How cool is that? That just looks sensational. I'm so impressed. Oh, look at that. That's embroidered. Why is it fantastic? First of all, it's a solo seat, and if I want my wife on the back, it comes with an accessory pad. The bike looks way better when I'm riding by myself because I can get rid of the pad and ride with a solo seat. That's ego. Is that ego? Put in the comments if I am just being too egotistical by making my bike look good. It is a touring bike, isn't it? So what's so good about this seat? Well, first of all, the top of the seat is leather. It's a natural material, so it's going to breathe and it's going to feel a lot better in different climates. Now, this seat is very comfortable for a couple of interesting reasons. First of all, it's reasonably wide, so there's a lot of weight distribution. I wouldn't say I've got a big bum, so I don't really need a massively wide seat, but this is certainly wider than my last seat. And then of course, Corbin use their own proprietary foam, which is a closed cell, very firm foam that won't break down. It does make this a firm seat, and Corbin say that it takes a lot of kilometers to break in your seat. Surprisingly, I found this comfortable straight away, no problem at all. So I can't wait till I've done thousands of miles on it and it's properly broken in. Now, this is their classic solo seat. It's got a bit of an old school look, which I like. Now, in your seats, you've got to have quality foam. Otherwise it breaks down over time and it actually compresses while you're riding and starts to get very uncomfortable. Now, this seat is way more comfortable than my last seat, which was definitely a form well over function seat. And it's definitely more comfortable than the stock standard Street Glide seat, which I find very difficult to use because I need to be pushed back a couple of inches. Corbin seats are always ergonomically designed, so they sort of fit the contours of your body, and they also seem to put you into a relaxed posture, and I noticed that straight away on this seat. I've got a matching pillion pad for it, so I can put my wife on the back in comfort, no problem at all. The seat's actually got a lock on it, which I've never seen before. It's pretty handy actually. Just a quick turn of the key and the seat pops off, and of course no one can take it. Number 2 is clothes, very important. A lot of people, when I ask them what are their tips for riding comfortably, don't actually mention clothes. I think that clothes are imperative to comfort. I always keep wet weather gear in my saddlebags, not only for the rain, because you've got to think if you get wet and you get cold, not only are you going to be uncomfortable, you're going to be very tense and things are going to get very unsafe for you. Now, the wet weather gear serves a second purpose, and I've found that if I get cold, I just put my wet weather gear on over the top of my clothes and I'm pretty much always warm. Now, of course, there's all sorts of motorcycle clothing that you can wear, and I'm always looking for comfortable clothing. I'm wearing these Resurgence jeans at the moment. They've got a fantastic stretch to them. Most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I've got a few pairs of them. They're really good. And that brings me to the Black Friday bonus in today's video. I talked Resurgence Gear into giving a once-off, never seen before Black Friday sale. Now it's 15% off. It runs for 8 days only, and you've got to use the code OldNotDead. And of course, if you use the code OldNotDead, not only do you get your 15% off, but you're in the competition to win $1,000 worth of motorcycle clothing before Christmas. Fair income. If you're not in this, starts now, right now. They've got motorcycle jeans, jackets, riding shirts, gloves. They've got ghost armor. If you put armor in your motorcycle clothing, you haven't tried ghost armor, try it, it's pretty cool. Now, tip number 3 is bags. Sounds ridiculous, but bear with me. I've been riding for over 40 years. Most of those years I've done on motorcycles with no bags at all. And that means if you want to carry something, if you want spare clothes, if you're going to the shop for something, you've got to take a backpack or a sling bag. What a pain in the butt. Of course, if you're in that situation, you don't actually realize what a pain in the butt it is until you've had a bike with saddlebags. Bags are fantastic. I'll take everything with me now. I've got a toolkit, a puncture kit, wet weather gear, camera gear, drinks. I have to do a what's in my bags video. Now, I've taken this up another level and got myself a tour pack from Advanblack. Absolute bonus having another hard bag on the back that comes on and off with the bike. It's perfectly color matched. It's got this beautiful interior. Looks pretty plush actually. It locks, and it's also got a rack on top so I can add an additional bag. So if I'm going away somewhere, in particular with my wife on the back, seriously, we can take everything. We could probably live on the bike. What do we do with the kids? Now I've got extra carrying capacity. I can take my bike to the shops whenever I want. It's an absolute bonus.
Put all your stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town.
This is fantastic when you want to go shopping. I've got today's orders. I've got some water, got some plumbing that I'm going to do later. Stacks of room. Now, number 4 is handlebars. Now, handlebars is a very popular choice. Everybody says that handlebars are there for comfort. On this particular street glide, I have not yet changed my handlebars. I've got some in the mail on their way. Now, the interesting thing about handlebars is I've resisted. I've put apes on bikes before. I've found that I can't ride nearly as fast. Oop, not allowed to ride fast. I've found that I can't ride nearly as hard when the bars are up high. I've ridden a few touring bikes where people have got high bars, and a lot of the high bars are quite wide. I find that a very awkward position to ride hard in and to control the bike around corners in. I personally prefer narrow handlebars. I've got some handlebars on the way that are narrow, so we'll see how we go in a few videos from now. I discovered this riding a friend of mine's road glide. He's got those Thrashin T-bars on it, nice and narrow, absolutely awesome. You can't do that on a street glide without losing access to the screen. But generally speaking, most people think that handlebars will improve the comfort of your motorcycle because it will improve your posture, put you into a more upright position, which is better on your back. As I've said before in previous videos, with good core strength, it's not really a problem reaching for the bars or putting yourself into a more aggressive position where you're leaning forward on the bike. But not everybody can do that, so handlebars is one of the top choices for improving the way you sit on the bike. I think that's why everybody loves them. What do you reckon, Mark? What do you do to make your bike comfortable? Because check out the padding on this seat.
Well,
what else do you do?
I'd definitely have to say seat, definitely suspension as well.
Yep.
And handlebars.
Handlebars,
where your hands are actually located on your bike.
Right,
makes a big difference.
The backrest
Yes. It's a bit of an old man thing.
But
I think you go and buy one of them when you're 50.
but
plus.
seriously comfortable.
Seriously comfortable,
Yep.
mate. Yeah, definitely.
Right, cool. Number 5, you might have seen last week's video on Wilbur's suspension. Suspension is probably the number 1 comfort tip on any motorcycle. Now we've just come up a driveway at this motorcycle store and the bump was massive and Sarah says, wow, because it's so smooth, isn't it? What did you think of the new Wilbur's suspension? Pressure! Harley Davidsons have got adequate suspension if you're going down a smooth road, I guess. Once you're off those dead smooth freeways, you want to push hard, the roads are a bit bumpier, you're going hard around long sweepers, well, you definitely need to change the suspension. The interesting thing that I found last week about Wilbur's suspension is when you accelerate, and I try and accelerate, when you accelerate, there is with the standard suspension, there's a little bit of lag where the suspension seems to take the force and then you take off. I noticed straight away there's no lag at all and you're accelerating immediately. And of course the suspension smooths out a lot of the bumps and a lot of the wobble going around those big fast sweepers. So what happens is you're not as tense. And I noticed straight away that after a ride, whether that be long or short, I was a lot more relaxed than I was with the standard suspension on this bike. And of course the Wilbur's suspension that I put on here has an extra inch of travel than the stock standard shocks. And with that extra travel, it absorbs the bumps like you wouldn't believe. Makes cornering a lot easier, highly recommend it. Check out my last video. Check this out, Eric's wife has won $500, best hand of the day, and she's not giving it to Eric. Hiding it.
Hey, she can walk home then.
Sanya, you've won $500 for Eric.
Yeah. Okay, see you guys.
What do you do to make your bike comfortable?
The seat. First thing's the seat, then suspension and handlebars.
Yeah. Great. Anything else?
Ride it as hard as you can.
What do you do to make your Harley more comfortable?
I've actually got suspension for once.
That makes it more comfortable.
Yep.
Anything else?
I've just set more bars up, set my seat up. Yep. Yeah, my suspension's on hard.
Yep.
So that's about it, really.
So that seems to be the common answer. Seat, handlebars, suspension. Tip number 6, one of my favourites also, and that is the screen on a motorcycle, and I can extend that in winter by putting the soft lowers around the crash bars. Can't emphasise enough how comfortable it is having a screen. Now, a lot of people say the screen on a street glide gives you a lot of buffeting. I actually like that because I like a little bit of the wind. If we're talking comfort, what happens when you're riding hard is the screen takes the edge off that force of wind that is continually on you. It's a lot easier to ride very hard for very long periods of time when that wind is taken away. Now in winter in particular, it's pretty cold on your legs. And when you get cold, you tense up. Not only are you uncomfortable, but it's unsafe. Well, the soft lowers, which are an incredibly cheap addition to any bike that's got the crash bars, just deflect that cold wind. Really is amazing the difference that it makes. Less wind means you're not going to be tired, and of course that adds up to massive comfort. Now number 7 is cruise control, and this was a real surprise to me because never in my wildest dreams would I ever have wished for a motorcycle with cruise control. I just didn't give a, can I say shit? Cruise control, who wants that? I want it now. I'd never have a bike without cruise control. It's absolutely sensational because you forget over a long distance, you can't take your right hand off the handlebars unless you want to drop rapidly in speed. You can't always do that. Well, how easy is one click of the button to maintain your speed, and your right arm and bung shoulder gets a massive rest. Cruise control, who would have thought? Highly recommended. So if you liked today's video, don't forget to check out my other video, Harley Riders Last Day Alive, blessed and happy. Don't forget to support the channel, oldnotdead.club. Grab yourself some supporter gear, t-shirts, patches, stickers, you know the drill, caps, beanies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.